together.
I'm Eileen Doran. I'm the Executive Director of TARC. TARC is the oldest provider of services to children and adults with developmental disabilities in Shawnee County. We have been doing this for over 65 years now. Things are a little different today than they were 65 years ago in many respects, particularly now since we have been dealing with COVID-19 and the impact that that's had on our families and on the services that we're able to provide here at TARC. Our Children's Services program, though, looks very different. I'm standing in the room of endless possibilities that was made possible by the Topeka Active 2030 Club several years ago. And this room would typically have families who would come together for support groups. We might be having a spark night, a respite evening for families on a Friday night, or we would simply have staff in here holding their team meetings. All of our Children's Services staff are still actively serving almost 500 families who are currently receiving services through our Tiny K program. Those staff, though, instead of meeting on site, are conducting meetings with one another via Zoom, but they're also conducting all of their home visits now via Zoom. But over 90% of our families have agreed to participate and continue to receive services through telemedicine in that way. So our teachers, our occupational therapists, our physical therapists, our speech therapists are still providing the same services, just in a different way. Of course, we hope to be able to resume making those home visits as soon as it's safe to do so. And that will be determined not just by TARC and not just by our families and not just by the state in terms of lifting the safe at home order. It really will be determined by all three and making the decision that's best for each individual child, for each individual family. You're accepting referrals still. You know, one of the things that we have noticed that's changed is the number of referrals in the last month has dropped off by almost 50%. We know from talking to the pediatricians that are often making those referrals that the reason is simply that they aren't seeing the patients either, that many of the families have postponed wellness visits because they're worried about taking their babies into the doctor's offices. And many families aren't aware that we still are accepting referrals. And so we are able to do the evaluation, and we really encourage any family who has concerns about whether or not their child is developing typically or not to still contact us, because we are able and willing and ready to do those evaluations. Again, we will probably, much like most other businesses, that we will gradually get back to normal here at TARC. We will have some plans in place for bringing our individuals, our adults that we serve back on site, just like we have a plan in place to bring our staff back on site. Right now at TARC, we only have about 8 to 10 staff out of our 130 or so individuals that would normally be in and out of this building. We, of course, like so many other organizations, spring is a time when there are a lot of fundraisers, just like summertime. We've had to postpone our golf tournament, our annual golf tournament that should have been scheduled to happen in the first week of May, and now we've postponed that to August 31st, and we're keeping our fingers and every other digit crossed, hoping that will come to fruition. We're hopeful. Another big fundraiser in the fall, Taste from the Top, that again, we were really excited because we're going to be utilizing the new plaza downtown as part of that. And so we're really hopeful that that event will be able to take place as well. Our folks in service are very disappointed because Special Olympics, we usually host the Special Olympics send-off here at TARC that takes place in June, and that has been canceled. So we're really looking at some ways that we might be able to do some small Special Olympics competitions for our folks. If we have families who are looking for services for their child, that number is 232-0597, or you can simply fax the referral to us at 785-232-2097.